What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. More Birthright coverage for you today. We're taking a look at Fortify and Castle all in one just because they're so similar. So Fortify is a domain realm action, success of 2+ with a base cost of 1 regency point, but there's some other costs in there as well, which we'll get into. So building strongholds in a domain is a good way to deter and tie up enemy forces in a war. So you can fortify a single holding or a castle. The latter affects the entire province naturally, so as they tend to dominate a larger area than just like a fortified building. So the holdings, any type of building can be fortified. Fortified holding remains under the region's control even if the province in which it lies is occupied by hostile forces, so there is some advantage in doing that. Now here we get to the real cost, and this is where, again, you're going to have to definitely build up some solid funds to get these higher level fortifications. So the basic one's not too expensive, but as we can see, it'll get progressively more expensive. So 4 gold bars per holding level, and then also work proceeds at the base of d6 gold bars per domain turn. So ideally you get a good roll there just so it gets built relatively quick. So for example, if you build like a giant cathedral, very high level, let's say like 7 or 8, could even take a few years just in game time to get that done, which makes sense. But obviously it's a long-term investment then. A regent may pay actually 5 gold bars per fortification level though, to make the work progress at 2d6 gold bars per domain turn. So if you have the extra funds, definitely a good idea there just to speed up production, especially if it's a higher level fortification. Now if it's something like level 2 or 3, really you can be fine with just the d6 gold bars per level, or per domain turn rather. So just something to think about there. Now castles are of course the ultimate in fortifications here. So if you want to basically fortify your whole province, create a new holding for the area, which is a castle. Now these are super expensive as you would imagine. So 8 gold bars per level, right? So even something relatively low like a level 3 castle is gonna cost you 24 gold. Super expensive. So you can imagine if you're trying to invest in something for like your capital town, maybe a level 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, it's some serious bank that you're gonna have to accumulate. So same here as above, d6 gold bars per domain turn, but the regent may pay 10 gold bars per turn for work to progress at 2d6 gold bars per turn. So really expensive, especially if you want to get that built relatively quick. Castle can accommodate a garrison of 1 military unit per level as well, so something to keep in mind if and when you do engage in that activity. So a little bit more to look at for that. So when a regent builds a castle, you automatically fortify any holdings you control in that province. So something to keep in mind as opposed to just fortification covering like a certain type of building, which would be your holding. Castle just takes care of all of the things you control. So that being said, if the ruler builds a castle 3 in a province where you control a law 4, 3 of the 4 law levels are basically considered to be fortified by the castle, with that one outside not being the case. Now, an interesting thing about castles is that they can exceed the level of the province, but the cost then starts to double once it's greater than the province level, which is already super expensive, right? So, like the 8 gold bars go into 16. Whew. And if you think about what it costs to raise an army, these higher level fortifications and castles really are like an army unto themselves as far as just the expense. So fortifications can be opposed by other regions who have holdings in the province, so always something to keep in mind when you start that initial building project. How much do you really control in that province, and are the people who control those other holdings likely to be opposed to you building a fortification or castle? So by spending regency points, they can affect the success number of this action. A failed success roll indicates that no progress was made in that domain turn. Now, although construction of a fortification can last for many domain turns, it requires an action only on the first turn that construction is begun. The costs for the domain turn are paid at the time. In later domain turns, the costs are paid in the domain maintenance phase, and the success check is made in the free action step. Now, several fortifications could be used, or sorry, not used, but started at the same time using a realm action. But again, serious investment of funds. So you're really, really going to have to deploy some serious resources if you're looking to build anything but just the most basic of fortifications across multiple provinces at once. But castles certainly give you that defensive edge in war, and certainly having one in a key province where you have a lot of hostile neighbors, or you really just need to exert, sort of a symbol of power and control, and as a deterrence as well. There's likely to be some good reasons to do that and make the investment, and show off the power and prestige of your realm as well. When it says to your neighbors, well, if we can afford this this high level castle, we're not anybody to be taken lightly. So, but let us know, guys, in the comments your luck with fortifications and castles, and any interesting stories around the building of such, and what your highest level of castle or fortification has been, and any interesting stories around that. So hit us up in the comments there, guys. Like, subscribe, keep the channel growing. And for those who do want to support the channel even more, we have started a Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have a short little link towards the end of the video here and in the description as well. We'll be cooking up some new and unique things for Birthright on there as well. So check out the different perks there, and we'll look forward to interacting with you guys. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.